Build it, break it, fix it, fish it. What we're gonna do is I bought all new components. We're gonna build a brand new rod. We're gonna break that brand new rod. We're gonna fix that brand new rod, and then we're gonna test that brand new rod. Boom, 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 boom. If you like this video, please toss me a sub and make sure to hit the ding dong. A couple of years ago, I made a rod repair video and I made a mistake. I said I was going to test it and I never tested it. And do you know why? Two reasons. One, I wasn't a very good fisherman. And two, I actually broke the thing. I hit it against a tree and it snapped. I decided that I needed to do another fix with testing. So I went out and I bought a piece of crap rod from Walmart for 10 bucks. And I broke it and I figured out a new way that I want to fix it. But the more I thought about it, I was like, I really got no skin in the game here. When I did the first rod repair video, I fixed a rod that was sentimental to me. It was very important to me. That's why I fixed it. With this though, I felt like I was just going through the motions. So I bought all new components. Today we're gonna start the rod build. So let's get cracking. Build it, break it, fix it, fish it. I need somebody that has like some remix skills so we can do a song. Build it, break it, fix it, fish it. Build it, break it, fix it, fish it. This is gonna be awesome. Stick around. So because this isn't a rod building video, I'm just gonna go through the steps that we're taking to build the rod. If you've built a rod before, you know that this can be somewhat of a time-consuming process. So first we're gonna prep our materials, then we're gonna take our blank and we're gonna find the spine, then we're gonna prep the handle assembly, we're gonna epoxy the reel handle or split grip, we're gonna mount the reel seat, we're gonna place the front fork, we're gonna space out the guides, we're gonna tape the guides on and install the tip top. We're gonna wrap all of the guides and the hook keeper and the decal if need be. Finally, we're going to apply epoxy over our wraps. At that point, we should have a completed rod. So our epoxy's finally dry. Everything's good to go. This thing came out awesome. It's gorgeous. And I have it paired with the Fluger Summit. Now, there's a problem. And the problem is that this rod isn't broken. I don't want to break it. Well, it's time. Fun fact, I am not looking forward to this because it was a lot of work. I did not want to do that. That sucked. Okay, she's busted now. Now we gotta fix it. That's about where it was broke in the last video. Oh boy, that sucked. Well, now it's time to get into the meat and potatoes of actually fixing this rod. This is brand new, completely busted. In the previous video, we used a dowel rod and we made, I don't know if you'd call it a splint. We took a section out and we placed it, epoxied it inside the rod, and then we put our two ends together over the top of it, and that hid the fix. Then we wrapped braid and we epoxied it, and that worked well, but it broke. So this time what I've done, I actually have a section of dowel rod here that I cut off, but I've reinforced it. And the way that I did that was I took a stainless steel screw that I got at the local hardware store, and I drilled it dead center into this dowel. We're gonna be able to taper this down, and then we're gonna hacksaw off the head of the screw because this is too big to fit in here. And then we're gonna taper this side down, and what we'll have then is we'll have a dowel with a piece of stainless steel in it that should be very difficult to break. Then we're gonna take it a step further. This stuff is called fiber fix. You get it wet and it's like a resin tape and it gets super rigid. We're gonna do a single wrap of this on the outside of the fix. When we're done epoxying this inside, we're gonna wrap that with thread. We're gonna epoxy over the top of it, and we'll be ready to test the rod. We will take the rod out and we'll test it. We'll catch a bunch of fish with it and we'll see how it holds up. So this will be a much stronger fix. One other quick thing before we move ahead. The way that I made this, I didn't hold this dowel in my hand and screw into it with a drill. That would be dangerous. What I did was I took this dowel and I clamped it in place vertically under a drill press. I drilled straight down into it and made a pilot hole, and then I took and I drilled in with a hand drill while this was in a bench vise. Well, this is the new one. So here's the new dowel rod. Just so this doesn't move.
Eye goggles. Eye goggles.
Come on, I want to look cool.
You look super cool with your goggles on.
Perfect. This screw is actually that long. So there's no way that you could hold this in your hand and safely drill a screw into it. That would be a very bad idea. Don't do that. So this has to be brought down pretty far in size. I think we're gonna do a combination of whittling and also sanding. Now that works pretty well. It's smoothing it out and rounding it, but we've got a ways to go, so I'm gonna whittle some of this off of here. That's very satisfying. I have to say that this is working much better than I anticipated, and it's way speeding up the process over what we did last time. This is why it's important to work with wood on the outside of the screw, because this is going to be a perfect fit. It's going to be snug, but it's not going to be so tight that we don't get epoxy piled in there around it. So I'm going to show you a picture of this because this is actually really cool looking, the way that this is coming together here. All right, now I gotta stop. I can take material off, but I can't put material back on. So I need to slow down because this really sped the process up quite a bit. I need to see how far I can get this in, just snug, but not so snug that it's actually pushing on the blank because it'll split even more. Let's hacksaw the head off this screw and then we'll see where we're at on the other side too. Now you're saying to yourself, why don't you just put that in a bench vise or something like that? Well, I don't want to ding up the wood. I literally just want to remove the top and not put dents and stuff in the wood, which I'm going to continue to whittle down. We're almost done. There we go. That was a little bit more complicated than I anticipated, but I'll show you what this looks like. So see, we've got a metal center on our wooden dowel here. Hopefully that's focusing. This is a medium heavy, but it's a more compact blank. So that's why I had to remove the head. Off with its head. Okay, so this actually went a lot faster than I thought. We're gonna be able to epoxy this splint into place today. Now I've placed it on the table here so you can see the total length of the screw and the actual length of the wood itself. We got a little bit extra wood on the tip here. We're gonna place this to where we have about the center of the screw right at the break. Like I said, these are stainless steel. These are really hard to bend. Like if I take this and just put pressure on it with my fingers, if I put one side in a pair of pliers, I'm embarrassing myself. But I feel a lot better about this compared to the old version, which was just relying on the dowel. And as soon as I hit that rod on something and put quick pressure on it, it snapped. I'm gonna work it into the upper end of the blank first. I don't wanna place this in here and have it get lost in one direction or the other. I could actually take this and push this down into the blank and then it would be stuck and then that would not be good. I was gonna use this Pro Paste epoxy, but this is like an adhesive slash epoxy that gets used in rod builds, you know, as you saw earlier. I just remembered I have, this is JB Weld, Clear Weld, this is 5-minute epoxy. I'm gonna mix some up and we're gonna use it for the upper portion and we're gonna let that cure for about a good 30 minutes and really set up. Then we'll mix some more up, we'll do it on the lower portion, we'll put the thing together, we'll let that cure, and then we should be able to wrap it with our fiber fix. We use this in the spoon refinishing video, that's why I have this. So check that out if you are looking for another cool project that you can do. So we're just gonna mix some of this up, equal parts. All I gotta do is take this off, squeeze the plunger, mix it up, apply it. I got my line on here with the Sharpie. We'll wipe away the excess with some alcohol. Then once that's hardened, we'll do the lower portion. This won't move. Blech. Better to have too much as opposed to not enough. And we'll try to put this back on without dropping it. Oh shoot, dang it, of course. We're gonna take some epoxy on a toothpick and we're gonna carefully load it into the blank and work it around. And we're gonna take this, we're gonna dip the tip in the epoxy, and then we're gonna put this in here and spin it to kind of get that epoxy all over the whole thing as we go in there. I wanna see that epoxy get packed onto that to really lock it into place. We're gonna put this up in the blank. gonna use a little bit of alcohol here to wipe away some of the excess. Just like that. Okay. All right, so it's been about 30 minutes. Our epoxy has completely cured. I've started to mix up another batch. We're gonna apply this to the lower portion, and then we're gonna put these two pieces together. And I have a towel here. I'm gonna set this flat on the table. I'm gonna place the towel on it so that it doesn't go left or right, but it's on a nice flat surface because I don't want it to be tilted in some goofy way. Let's get an alcohol wipe ready because I'm for sure gonna have to clean up. Get rid of the, need a little bit of weight on this side. Okay, our guides are straight up and down. Now we wait. Good morning. It's the next day. Our epoxy has dried, and so what we have going on here now is a solid fix on the inside. We have a screw epoxied in place, wrapped in wood, essentially, inside of this blank that's about that long. And I want to do a single wrap of this fiber fix resin tape on the outside of the blank. I tested this on a dowel rod that I broke. If this breaks, it's not going to break here. It's going to break somewhere else on this dowel rod. So this stuff is really strong. It's very gross though. I got it all over my hands before, and the epoxy or resin, whatever it was, hardened on my hands, and it didn't come off until I really had to grind it off there. So we are going to use gloves for this, and we're going to try to cut this to size first because this just comes on a roll. We might do 2 wraps. I don't know yet. I just don't want this big bulbous thing on here. So we want about that much. Well, fun fact, we got to delay a game here because this is a single-use product. When I opened this to test it on this dowel rod, I put it in a Ziploc thinking that as long as I didn't add moisture to it, it wouldn't harden. I just did a quick search online. It says that even the vapor in the air can cause it to start to harden. So once it comes out of this package, you got to use it right away or it's done. We always learn stuff when we do these things, don't we? Guess that's what we learned this time. So I wasted that whole roll repairing this dowel rod, which I broke and is worthless. So, all right, let's go get some more and get back to work as soon as we can. Well, it's midnight and we're back. I had some running around to do, but I was able to get some more of this stuff at Farm and Fleet. This was $7. Unfortunately, this is a one-time use product. Now we know. Oh, they gave me some gloves. Neat. So we're gonna have a 2-inch patch right here. I need a bowl. Let's do this. Now, I actually gotta be really careful with this because my wife does not like it when I use bowls from the kitchen to work on projects. We saw that in the spoon video. What are you looking for? What do you need? I just got found out. She just goes, "Where's my glass bowl?" Outside with spoons in it. I'm sorry, babe. I need a bowl. Good Lord. Probably shouldn't make that gesture. I don't want this all over my blank or my knife. This might be a huge mistake. Man, I really want this rod to be stable, so I did too much work on it, so we're gonna do 2. I'm gonna cut. Oh boy, I hope this works. This is gross. But it dries really hard, so. There we go, there we go. How can I clean this? Okay, so I'll be honest, I know that this is going to work well. I've used the material before and I know it's gonna harden up the way I want it to, but this is nasty. This stuff is nasty. And now I gotta make sure that this is on there tight. So, let's go like this. Okay. Ugh. Well, that ain't going anywhere anytime soon. I wish I had a piece of tape. Well, I do have tape. I might just let it cure overnight. There's no rush. We'll do it tomorrow. It's late. I'm going to bed. We can wrap it and epoxy it tomorrow, and then we can test it later this week. Let's do that. Good night. It's late. I'm getting weird. Good night.
Ugh, disgusting. Look at it.
Look at it! Good morning. Let's see how we did. That is rock hard. I gotta get a close-up of this so you can see this. The next step that we're gonna take here, we're gonna wrap this with thread, just like we would a guide. And we're gonna go a little bit past our fix this direction and past our fix this direction. We just wanna cover up all the ugliness here and make it really nice looking. All right, this isn't gonna work. This is too high up off the blank, so I'm gonna have to add a little bit of tape to taper down the edges here. Okay, so I put tape on both ends of this, and this is helping. We're gonna put our loop in, we're gonna do 5 or 6 more turns, and then we're gonna pull our thread through and lock it in place, and then we're gonna try to smooth this out as best as we can. Pretty good at this point. Right there. Okay, pretty cool. Now we're just going to try to flatten the thread a little bit, reduce all of our gaps, and all in all, it looks pretty good. Our wrap looks good. We're going to put some epoxy on. We have an epoxy mixer, and this is going to actually mix up our epoxy without introducing a bunch of bubbles, so we definitely want to do that. And then I have my rod rotating motor over here. Now I've got some Pro Coat right here. This is already measured out, 1 milliliter of each. We're going to see if this is enough. Typically you get more than you think. So it goes in this little cup, it gets placed in this dish. We turn this on, then we place this mixer in there, and that just spins around 3, 4, 5 minutes, something like that, before I apply that. So I'm gonna clean up some of my mess while that's mixing. We should be ready to apply our final layer of epoxy here. We don't wanna go super thick on this now because we're already kind of sticking up off the blank because of our fix. Switch her back. So the way that this motor works, if you turn it off and on, it'll actually reverse. I don't know if that's a feature or if that's something that happens by accident, but it is pretty useful at times. And we should be in business. I'm gonna look for spots that are uneven. Okay. We'll let her dry, clean up whatever else we can, and test it out later this week. Sweet. So here's the $1 million question. Did the repair hold up? The short answer is yes. Long answer is absolutely. Not only did I test this on fish, as you'll see in the next segment, I also tested it on some snags like some rocks and trees. It worked great. It's actually on the wall right there behind me, and I've taken it out several times for Thursday night fishing.
Thursday night fishing.
Now, if you want to check that out, I plan to continue to use the rod on Thursday night fishing. And if you're interested in doing a repair like this for yourself, I've gone ahead and I've created a checklist of all the items that you're going to need to go from start to finish. So just head over to theminimalistfisherman.com. You can download that checklist for free. Thank you guys for sticking with me. I appreciate it. It's rock solid. It's much better than the last one. It'll work for you. Let's get better.
Pretty bass. There's a fish. Oh! Where is the hook? That's a fish. Not bad. Good bass. There's a little dink miss. There's a fish. That was an aggressive hook set. That's about what I missed. That was funny. All of a sudden my bait just started swimming in circles. Ooh, busted my line. That's another miss. Now we gotta retie. No. Okay, there's the best rod test I could do. We'll get it holding up. Okay, well there's another one on the fixer.
I hope it heals up.
There we go. Rod didn't break. Back we go. I'm sorry. That was brutal. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Gosh, I threw him right on the rocks. Sorry, dude. No, bad hook set. Here, let's see how the rod does if we do a lift. Nice bass. Oh boy, my line's gonna break. Ooh, I only got 8 pounds. Look at you. You're a goofy looking thing. Clean you off and get a super fast picture. Oh, no I'm not. Oh. Dang it. Ugh. There, we finally got him. Oh, you gave me a lot of problems, my dude. 'Tis but a dink. That's a better fish. That's a better fish, yeah. It's coming up, coming up. There he goes, he just bumped a bunch of those. Let go. That's what I'm talking about. That's a better fish. That's a 2 over 2. Come here. Get up. Skinny, but you're over 2 pounds easy. What's up, buddy? Big head on that.